Welcome back to Lasco Ford. This is a 2020 Ford Mustang GT500, also known as the Shelby GT500. How about that? What you're going to see too is some of the Shelby badging that we're going to notice on the front of this is really going to come from that front splitter with huge Shelby written out directly below where this massive Cobra is on the front of this vehicle. We're going to just get started taking a look at everything about the car, right? First thing we want to pay attention to is this, first of all, has the largest amount of air that can be ingested into this car on a Mustang ever produced. Other things, highest down pressure ever produced by Ford Motor Company on a Mustang as well. Largest brakes ever used on a Mustang. You're going to see that in just a second. It's literally bigger than my size 10 shoe for the front caliper. Wow. All right, now we're going to take a look at the hood and go, well, it's batten down the hatches type of hood, right? So you've got a release that's in here with your standard hood pull. Well, yeah, you're going to have that, but then you've got an extra 2 buttons that you're going to have to push after you pull the hood release. And the reason being is this car's got 760 horsepower. And to be able to have that kind of horsepower, it needs all that air. It also needs to keep the hood down in this massive cowl that's going to be gloss black, whether you have a triple black car like us or not. You got to be able to let this thing breathe. Now, it is going to be wider too than what you're going to see with any of the other Mustangs that Ford's producing for 2020. What you're going to see on that is this big lip coming up where the simulated cardinal looking style is here coming up there. Like your standard Mustang is only going to be as wide as where this headlight stops, and now you're coming over, I mean, I'd say good measurements, probably a solid 1.5 inches, maybe 2, right? So let's take a look at why they're doing that. Well, first of all, it's because you got a fat, juicy set of 305 front tires on this and 315s in the back. So for us to have that big and that wide of a tire with this massive braking system that we first see, and you might notice that as the top hat design that Ford came out with and developed on the GT350, they've carried that over to this design as well, but in a larger rotor. And I wasn't kidding. There's my size 10. Literally, that caliper is bigger than my shoe, and you're going to be wrapped with a Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. Why? You want to keep this thing glued to the road. They're so wide of tires. The cool thing is the amount of down pressure, the faster you go, the more glued to the road that this car is. Pretty common, right? But now you're going to see more of the aero design that's going to go on the side here. So you're going to see this huge cardinal over here, bringing air back in and pushing down on the vehicle as you increase speed. You're still going to have the cool things like puddle lamps, right? You got your Mustang puddle lamps that are going to be up underneath here. This vehicle has a technology package, so in this mirror, it's got its turn signal, and it also has the blind spot awareness system that Ford is, you know, obviously had their development on for years and years and years to keep you safe, not just on the track, but on your way to the track, because you could drive this car as a daily driver and then go to the track and rip it up. So looking on this car, what is it going to be coming with? Okay, first of all, we're going to go through a couple of the different options. This is going to have the exposed carbon fiber, right? So you can do a carbon fiber package that comes with a track package as well. It's $18,500. That's not an option on this car, but hey, this car is for sale. It's available. I've seen them over 100,000 with all options included. This is making it a bit more affordable. The cool thing that this is going to also have is if you are driving to the track, I mean, you have B&O sound system in this thing, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, navigation. You've got all the goodies inside to make this a lot more comfortable of a ride. If it was a daily driver, I mean, really, realistically, is it going to be? Probably not. Maybe in the nice warm days with no rain and no snow. But this is just an absolutely beautiful car. Let's keep going. The things that you're going to find on the back. So there's multiple spoilers that you can do. The carbon fiber package is going to have a spoiler that legitimately is upwards of almost $10,000 for just one spoiler. $5,000 per wheel. That's that carbon fiber package. That's $18,500 as an option, right? On this vehicle, we're going to have a couple screws on the bottom of this style spoiler, which is a 3-pedestal spoiler. But you've got 4 of these screws that are going to come out and be replaced with a T20. And then you have a piece that's going to go up underneath here, and it's a gurney flap. If you got a comment on that, please list it down below. I'm not extremely familiar, but what it does is it comes up and applies more down pressure to the rear of the vehicle. So I didn't know the technical name. I had to look that up and get our tech guy to tell me what that was. To pop the trunk, you're going to have a button directly below this angry looking Cobra. That's humongous. Cool. In here, this is just one of the covers for the seats that we have. Trunk space, coincidentally, I can tell you this for a fact, is bigger than a Ford Focus hatchback with the seats up. That's a fact. I'm serious. Because I took a customer that had a new Mustang and took out the rear trunk piece to keep all of his stuff organized, and it was too small for the back of his new Mustang. So keep that in mind. You got this huge speaker amplifier that's going to come with a B&O sound system that's going to be with the car. Up underneath, if you pull this little tether, what are you going to have there? Weight reduction. That's what you're going to have. You've got the inflatable pump. You've got your funnel that's over on this side as well. Why do you need a funnel? Well, because it's a capless fuel system, so more of that race-inspired quick fuel up, on, back on the track, off we go. Let's take a look at the lights, the taillights on this too. I thought this was really cool because actually when I saw the car being unloaded from the trailer, it reflects the bottom to the top and almost makes it look like it's got two sets of taillights per side. The other thing, what's that? You can see it. Oh, you can? Okay, good, good. That's what I wanted to make sure of. The other thing to talk about is, like, did you see how big these are? So there's my fist, and it can go right into this rear exhaust, stock right out of the manufacturer, right off the truck. This one we just got into. It is available, like I was saying too, and it is September 23rd today. Shooting this video on this our third GT500 I think that we've had in here since. Taking a look at the back, I did want to mention, I know we've got the 315s on the back, different brake design for the rear than you have on the front. Absolutely monstrosity as far as brake goes. You know that a ton of the braking force is going to go off the front of the vehicle, but I mean, those are fairly certain those are bigger than my F-150's brakes. Just saying, they're huge. Let's take a look at the inside. We're going to go over what the Recaros are. We're going to go through the infotainment center. We're going to make sure that you know about all the options and equipment on the inside of the vehicle too, and kind of to explain what's the difference in the 2020 Shelby GT500. Cool? Come on, follow me. Here we go. Well, in order to look at the interior of the vehicle, well, we've got to clean out the interior of the vehicle. Here's all the things that are going to come or can come with your GT500. First of all, we're going to talk about the front splitter, right? So this is going to be the lower splitter for the front bumper here. This is the packaging it comes in. When we do our delivery to the customer, that's when we have that installed. Some customers have them shipped, so for shipping, we usually leave that off and it's customer request. On the gurney flap that we were talking about on the back side of the spoiler where the 4 removable screws are, this is that gurney flap for you to be able to replace, and it says for track use only. So take a look at 3 more boxes. Here's what you got. You're going to have a car cover, and that's going to have that huge Cobra logo that's on the car cover. In the box still, we don't want to unwrap anything because we don't know if we're going to have a collector grab it. Then on top of that, we're going to have the front bumper cover as well. Down over here, we're going to have the oil mist separator catch can to go along with the car. So those are 5 things that came inside of the vehicle. Trunk, passenger seat, came all in there, and that's why they wrap everything in so much plastic when you're getting your 2020 Mustang GT500. Let's take a look at the inside. Now the cool thing you're going to look at with the inside of the vehicle is when you go to grab the door, it is a proximity key. Down below you're going to see this huge Ford Performance, which used to be that SVT logo, right, or that label, and now it's going to be Ford Performance in a company with Shelby. Well, of course, Carroll Shelby, rest his soul, what an awesome influence to Ford Motor Company. But what we want to talk about is the inside of this car and what you're getting with not only the Recaros, but the interior design. Let's start out by taking a look at the door, and then we're going to follow that into the seating and see how that all kind of ties together. So you're going to have, they call this a gray, and it's a light color on that side. It's almost like I don't know, like a staggered design, but it's only on the GT500s. You can't get it in any other Mustang. Well, the cool thing is, you also have that tie into the seats with the Cobra that's embroidered here into your seating too. You can run the 5-star or the 5-point harnesses through this seat. You can do all of those things with that track package. You don't get a back seat if you do that track package with the carbon fiber, right? So we have a back seat in this car. It does seat 4. That is possible, and that's probably the reason why we ordered it this way instead of just doing a straight track car. Other things that are noticeable is on the Recaros, you're going to get a manual seat versus if you don't have the Recaro option, you're going to get a power seat, right? So a power seat in a race car versus manual. Once you get it right where you need it to be, get comfortable. Those stripes are going to continue on through this center console, and they utilize the space really well and have a smart charging USB here in the center. You also have a 12-volt outlet there as well. Another USB is going to be up in the front center stack, and it makes it a lot easier to deal with this Mustang versus some of the other Mustangs when it comes to exhaust notes and exhaust sounds, which we're going to do that as well for you. We're going to pop the hood. There's a couple other things we're going to do, but what we want to do to start is, well, I'm just going to turn on the accessory mode for now. Otherwise, it's going to be so loud, just not even going to be able to handle it. I promise you that. So up here, you're going to see the Ford Performance. You're going to see that giant Cobra pop onto the screen as soon as you go to start the vehicle or put it in this accessory mode. We've got the B&O. You're going to notice that B&O symbol is right up here by my finger. And then below that is going to be the carbon fiber in option. Now this is the $1,000 option of this carbon fiber panel that's going to be here on the dash, and then it's going to say what chassis number you are. So you're at this one is 3882, and how many people have a race car that's 760 horse that has dual climate control? I'm just saying, also navigation. And when you're starting to talk about not only the car and what's in it, the luxury is beautiful, but to be 110 more horsepower than GM's closest Camaro, that is not even on the same playing field. And then, you know, Dodge offers a very nice dump truck called a Hellcat Red Eye that can't touch this on the 0 to 60 time or the quarter-mile time. I'm just saying you might want to check and see where you're going to put your money, because this one's going to be faster every time, and, well, driver input's huge on that as well. Speaking of driver input, we're going to talk a little bit about the transmission. Now, this is a dual clutch transmission, Tremec transmission, that is just unbelievably technologically advanced and can shift within hundredths of a second. Hundredths of a second. So we do have a lot of people that love to have that manual shift and really feel the car. You can't catch this car. It's physically impossible. It's like trying to play patty cakes with lightning. It's not going to happen, okay? Just letting you know. So what I want to do is just show you a couple more things on the inside of this vehicle. To do that, I'm going to turn the wheels and open up this area a little bit. Quiet start, swear, I'm not even kidding. So things that we can do is just kind of go through some options in here. I'm going to go through the dash for you too. I'm not going to shout at you because that's nobody wants to hear me yell. It's so awesome. So we're in an accessory mode now. And for us to be in an accessory mode, let me get out of this right here. It's telling me 50 miles empty and our doors are open. Great, we know it. Okay, so your exhaust notes. You're going to do normal, you're going to have sport, then you're going to up to track, which is deafening, and then quiet if you're going to leave the house without having neighbors yell at you. Now, your modes for driving modes are going to be over here, and it's going to say normal, sport. You're then going to have track, and then you have drag strip. On top of that, you're then going to have, hold on, let me flip it one more time, and that's going to be the slippery or wet. It even has a snowflake. I mean, I wouldn't be driving this car in any kind of snow.
You can.
I mean, yeah, well, I'm not taking it across the bridge. 3.4 miles on this car here as well, too. So, I mean, when I say brand new, it's literally gone from the truck to in the showroom to our video area here. Automatic headlights that are going to be on it, too. Let's talk about the steering wheel a little bit as well. So what we're going to talk about up here is just going to go through different steering modes. So you're going to have normal steering mode. You can just keep tapping this button and adjust this for normal, or you can go into, you know, a couple different options here. You even have a snake button that's over on this side, where normally on regular Mustangs you're going to have a Mustang button here. Now what that's going to do is it's going to take you to your Cobra selection and go into my mode, your track applications as well. So if you go into your track applications, you can do your line lock to roast the back tires and do a drag race or just get them warmed up. We can do our launch control too. Our launch control, we can then go into our RPM and select up to 3,500. Oop. So up to 3,500 RPMs on your launch control as well, right? So we can adjust that. 3,200, sorry, correction there, right? Back up. Now you can go to acceleration timer. Now this is going to be 0 to 30, 0 to 60, 0 to 100. An eighth mile and quarter mile, then you can clear and view your results on that. If we go back, now we can go to brake performance. That's going to be all the same things as accelerating, but slowing down, 60 to 0, 100 to 0, and then clear your results as well. Now when you're getting back into additional options in here, hold on a second. Let me click my buttons, get back to where I'm at. Track applications as well. when we get in here, we can do our lap timer. So if there's a certain track and you change out your tires, tire pressure, change out your wheels, you do an upgrade to the engine, you do whatever you want to do. You can look at what you did last time, but also you can, you can go through a couple different options for drag race countdown, this is really cool because you can go into here and it'll literally give you your tree setup to where it goes, all the way down to a green light, and you can check your response times. Just unbelievable amount of options in here, right? So performance shift indicators too, shift with tone, shift with light modes. You can get into gauges, you can adjust those as well. Configure your gauges, and when you change your driving mode, notice that you're going to change your gauges as well. So let me get back in here to where I'm getting back out of this Cobra mode. So when I'm in that driving mode, okay, so we're slippery right now, right? So if we go to normal mode, notice the gauges haven't changed at all. We get into sport mode, right? As soon as we enter into sport, I might need to start the car for this. So when we adjust that mode, it's going to adjust your entire gauge cluster as well and really make it look, it's a lot more driver friendly and it pays a lot more attention to it too. Let's go into quiet mode for just a second here.
I hear you over the exhaust.
It's so loud. So in here you've got oil pressure too, oil temp. And I've had a couple people say, oh, well, it doesn't, do we really need that on a newer vehicle like this? Are you kidding me? Yes, of course, especially if you're gonna race it. Are you out of your mind? Make sure you're not losing oil and go pop a motor that's, I can only imagine, probably 30 plus G's. So when you take a look at your shift knob, right? So we're gonna go from park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then a manual mode. When we go into the manual mode, you have these massive paddle shifters that are up here, both engaged together, putting us into a neutral, so we're able to rev the vehicle. We're able to, do that on a roll. The cool thing about this, the transmission, this dual clutch transmission that's in here is, yes, the response time, but also selecting that right gear and having the right shafts working odd and even gears, 1 through 7 that you're going through. That's a big deal to go how quick it is. You won't understand it until you drive it. It is just so much more advanced than anything I've driven before, period, the end. Phenomenal. And then I'm sorry, I'm gonna go on a little rant here and I hope you don't mind. But things that are a little bit annoying to me is, you're doing 18 miles to the gallon out of a car that's 760 horsepower. Really? How can you not be happy with doing 18 miles to the gallon on a car that does 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds and runs a quarter mile in 10 seconds? You're doing 18 miles to the gallon. My truck barely does that, and I've got, 35s and a little lift, but this thing, it's hilarious to go, you have 760 horsepower and it hauls the mail. Let's pop the hood because I know you're waiting to see what's underneath. Well, you're gonna wonder what these buttons are on the hood. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but we've popped the hood from inside the car. We're just gonna press down on one, press down on the other one, right? And then just above the headlight is where you get that little pop for it. And what we'll do is pop the hood here to see the 5.2 liter supercharged massive motor that says hand built with pride. Right on the top of this motor, you're going to have the signature of the hand built motor. Who built this motor? That guy.
Adam.
Hey, Adam. And it says Romeo Niche Line. Adam, thanks for building this car, Adam. God bless you for 760 horsepower. There is no room for really anything underneath this hood at this point. You got the carbon fiber composite front radiator support. This, these are pieces that typically you're going to have the owner take off if they want to have, covers that are going around, all the little nuts and bolts and trinkets and all that good stuff that goes with it. All, of course, is adding value. This is going to be that strut tower stabilizer that goes back to the radiator, back to the firewall for a 3-point support. It's huge, it's massive, it's super lightweight, and it's out of the way. This massive cowl, you're gonna see that sucking air in like you wouldn't believe as well to keep everything cool up underneath the hood of this car.
And the rain guard's removable, right?
It is, 100%. So right through here, you can take the rain guard out, you can leave it in. If you're gonna do a heavy track day, of course, the more airflow, the better it's gonna be. There's so much to list on this car. If I miss something, put it in a comment, we'll respond to it for sure. There's just a lot going on. Now, these right here, Jay was letting me know that on these points where it's gonna go back into the hood up top here, it's greased fitting. It's gonna catch here, and that's gonna catch in those two spots. So you got 3 different places that this is gonna catch. Yeah, I just don't even feel comfortable shutting the hood on this car, I'm not gonna lie to you. So, but
There you go.
There you go. That's a Mustang. A heck of a Mustang. So I'm going to pull it out real quick. We'll do a couple exhaust notes. Other things that I was going to mention too, I heard somebody call it a fish gill for the eyes, or for this side of the light. Okay, please don't call it a fish gill. That sounds absolutely stupid. It's a shark gill is what it is. That's where that actually came out. Just kidding. It's a cobra. It's a cobra sensing, right? So it's like you got the eyes, right? It's not a fish gill. It's not a shark gill. This is where the heat signature that snakes see. That's what that is, man. Come on, get your stuff together. Figure it out. All right, we're gonna do a couple exhaust notes. So I'm gonna holler at them. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do number 1 is quiet mode. Number 2 is gonna be normal mode. Number 3 is gonna be sport mode. Number 4 is gonna be track mode, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna do quiet, normal, sport, track. I'm gonna show you right now, are you ready? It's gonna be loud, get ready, here we go. Now I'm moving up to normal mode.
One more. Awesome.
Well, now that you've heard the exhaust and the quiet, the normal, the sport, and the track mode, I mean, that gives me goosebumps. This is like literally one of my most favorite cars that we've ever shot here, and there's 23,000 people that are on our channel, and we always get comments on it. We'd love to hear your comments here at Lasco Ford in Fenton, Michigan. Knowing that this car is available, my name's Paul Zagman. Give us a shout. It's 810-629-2255. Or check out our inventory, lascoford.com, L-A-S-C-O, Ford.com. You can see this vehicle. It's available as of right now. Can't tell you how long that's going to last. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, anything you want to throw down there, we appreciate it. Thanks again.